Shocking news that has spread across all headlines. Are Musk and Trump allies or enemies after all? At first glance, they appear to be two individuals who seem to be looking in the same direction. But if you dig deeper, things get much more complicated. Public jabs, hints of betrayal, and of course, millions that could change the rules of the game. What is really going on between the world's most famous tech mogul and the President of the United States? Today, we'll break down this conflict piece by piece. Who set whom up? Who is profiting from whom? And is there an underlying story to all this drama that no one is telling us about? If you thought Musk and Trump were just two eccentric characters with loud tweets, believe me, it's much more interesting than that.
But the Trump, who did you say? Oh, let me tell you, we have a new star. A star is born, Elon.
Earlier this year, a scandal erupted that attracted widespread attention. According to reports, serious tensions arose between President Donald Trump's team and Tesla CEO Elon Musk. The cause was Musk's public statement against the Stargate project, an ambitious $500 billion initiative aimed at developing AI infrastructure in the US. The project has received support from several prominent technology leaders, but Musk, known for his criticism of large government initiatives, said the project was financially unviable.
And Elon Musk is casting doubt on President Trump's new $500 billion AI infrastructure deal. Trump's calling the joint venture between OpenAI, SoftBank, and Oracle Stargate, but Musk isn't sold on the idea. The billionaire head of Doge says OpenAI doesn't actually have the money to back up the deal.
Mr. President, does it bother you that Elon Musk criticized a deal that you made publicly, that he said that he tweeted that?
No, it doesn't. He hates one of the people in the deals.
Have you spoken to him since then?
No, I've spoken to Elon, but I've spoken to all of them, actually. No, the people in the deal are very, very smart people. But Elon, one of the people he happens to hate, but I have certain hatreds of people too.
This skepticism angered Trump's aides, who perceived Musk's comments as a betrayal. Despite this, the Trump administration remains committed to the success of Stargate and continues to promote it as a key strategy for strengthening the U.S.'s position in the field of artificial intelligence.
I don't trust OpenAI. I started that company as a non-profit open source.
Yes.
Now extremely closed source and maximizing profit.
Incidentally, Elon Musk, despite criticizing the project, continues to publicly support Donald Trump. This support is even more striking given the divisions within Musk's own company, where many employees actively support Trump's main opponent, former Vice President Kamala Harris. This whole situation demonstrates how serious political and business interests can clash, creating tension not only at the management level but also among their closest associates.
Assuming President Trump is willing, and I think he is, I intend to play a significant role in making government efficient.
This contrast between Musk's vocal support for Trump and the political stance of his employees highlights an important internal tension that is growing within Musk's empire. Musk, who supported Biden just a couple of years ago, is now on Trump's side. But here's the interesting thing. Employees at his companies, such as Tesla, SpaceX, and X, clearly support the other side. According to Open Secrets, they donate much more to Kamala Harris's campaign than to Trump's. For example, Tesla employees gave almost twice as much to Harris as to Trump. At SpaceX, the difference is even greater, almost 5 times as much. The situation is similar at X. Much more money went to Harris. This puts Musk in an awkward position. He supports Trump and criticizes the progressive agenda, while his employees, on the contrary, lean toward more liberal views. With this divide within Musk's companies, it is becoming increasingly difficult to ignore that his political preferences are at odds with many of the people he works with.
Would not have been surprising if some people said, this sounds like a political stunt, I'll believe it when I see it. What made this thing that happened last week so surprising is that the person saying that was a senior advisor to Donald Trump, and it was Elon Musk tweeting over and over and over again last week. I mean, the last time I checked, 20 times. He's tweeted a few more times. The usual mix of, I'd say, off-color jokes.
However, Musk's support for Trump does not mean that his employees feel the same way. On the contrary, there is a real political divide growing within Musk's empire. According to Open Secrets data, Tesla, SpaceX, and ex-employees generally support Kamala Harris. For example, Tesla employees donated almost twice as much to her as to Trump. And at SpaceX, the difference is huge, almost 5 times as much. The situation is similar at X. Kamala receives much more than Trump. This contrast between Musk's political position and that of his employees is becoming increasingly apparent. Musk, who has always been a supporter of economic realism and a critic of progressive politics, now actively supports Trump. But his employees, on the contrary, hold more liberal views, which of course causes tension within the companies. This unexpected alliance between Musk and Trump seems even stranger, especially considering that just a few years ago in 2020, Musk supported Joe Biden.
Do I believe Biden won? Yes, I believe he won.
And you voted for him.
I did, actually.
Do you regret that?
I mean, man, I wish we could have just a normal human being as president. That's what I want.
At the time, his statements and actions seemed to run counter to Trump's more conservative stance. Now, in 2025, Elon Musk openly supports President Trump, who has returned to the White House. This puts us in a surprising position. How did Musk, who has always emphasized his independence and penchant for economic realism, end up on Trump's side? All this contrasts with his previous support for progressive policies. Musk has always criticized excessive government interference in business, and his views on the economy are perfectly in line with what Trump is offering: minimal government regulation, lower taxes, and support for the free market. But this raises another important question. Could Musk's support for Trump be more than just a political stance? His appointment to the Presidential Commission on National Security and Economic Policy essentially looks like a step towards a political deal. Support for Trump may be part of a more complex strategy aimed at strengthening Musk's influence in American politics. The main conflict between Musk and Trump began to flare up even before Trump's inauguration. The main topic was electric cars. Musk is a leader in the electric car industry, and his company Tesla has long been a symbol of new energy and a sustainable future. But Trump, despite his political support for Musk, spoke out harshly against electric vehicles at the Republican Party convention. He promised that on his first day in office, he would repeal the so-called electric vehicle mandate, which he believes will lead to the destruction of the American auto industry.
We will be a rich nation again, and it is that liquid gold under our feet that will help to do it. With my actions today, we will end the Green New Deal and we will revoke the electric vehicle mandate, saving our auto industry and keeping my sacred pledge to our great American auto workers. Here's the problem with an electric car. They don't go far, very simple. Somebody would say, I wish I could make it more complex. Like, here's the problem. They don't go far. They cost a fortune. They want to make army tanks all electric. Do you believe we have the greatest tanks in the world? So you're in the middle of the desert, you say, you know, we're running low on electric. Do they have a charger?
This rhetoric, experts believe, could be a blow to Musk and his company. For example, Michael Murphy, a Republican strategist, believes that Trump has effectively betrayed Musk. After Musk pledged $180 million to support Trump's campaign, many hoped that this would influence Trump's opinion on electric vehicles. However, instead of softening his criticism, Trump said that the Green New Deal was nonsense and that electric cars would only destroy the American economy.
I mean, is Elon Musk at this point saying, hey, I gave you some giant bags of money to help you win the election?
What were you thinking?
And now you're doing this. Does this risk driving a wedge?
A huge sum, a whopping $180 million to support Trump's campaign. To do this, Musk created Super PAC, a fundraising organization, and actively persuaded donors to invest money in Trump's election. All of this was part of Musk's strategy to change Trump's position on electric vehicles and push him toward a more positive attitude toward this sector, in which Musk and his companies have invested so much effort.
That's the way it has to be. United Auto Workers, what they've done to their people is horrible. They want to do this all-electric nonsense. China now is building a couple of massive plants where they're going to build the cars in Mexico and they think that they're going to sell those cars into the United States with no tax at the border. We're going to put a 100% tariff on every single car that comes across the line. and you're not going to be able to sell those guns.
However, after Trump's speech at the Republican Party convention, where he again harshly criticized electric vehicles, it became clear that all these millions could be thrown down the drain. All of Musk's efforts to change Trump's mind with money seem to have been in vain. This creates the impression that the stakes were very high and that Musk now finds himself in a difficult situation. His financial promises to support Trump have not been as effective as expected. After Trump's speech and his insistence on electric vehicles, many began to wonder whether Musk's entire strategy had collapsed. It turns out that even with the huge funds that Musk promised to allocate, his influence on Trump's policies has been limited. Although Trump may not understand all the nuances, he stubbornly continues to criticize electric vehicles, even despite his promises to allocate money to support this sector. In his speech, Trump argued that large government subsidies for electric vehicles are the wrong approach, and that the Chinese built their industry with huge subsidies, making competition unfair for American manufacturers.
On day one, I will terminate Crooked Joe's ridiculous electric vehicle mandate. They're very expensive and they can all be made in China. They don't work in the cold and they don't go far. Other than that, I think they're wonderful. Let's drive down and get some potatoes from Idaho. Well, sir, that'll be about 6 stops. If you want to drive down to the store to buy clothing, or if you want to do something locally, it's fine. But these cars don't go very far. And they're very expensive. And what we're going to do is you're going to have an electric vehicle if you want it. And it's good for short trips, like to the candy store and back. And if you want to buy electric, you can buy electric, but you'll also buy combustion engines, gasoline. I'm not against it.
But here's what's interesting. Musk himself recently called for the abolition of subsidies for electric vehicles, even though his company Tesla has been receiving such support for many years. Musk's statement even drew criticism, since if subsidies were abolished, it would primarily hurt competitors, not Tesla itself. Nevertheless, despite all these contradictions, Musk continues to support Trump, and it looks like a kind of political deal. Some experts, such as Murphy, hope that Musk will be able to influence Trump, since electric cars are not just an environmental issue, but also an important issue of jobs and economic independence. If Musk and Trump can reach an agreement on this issue, it could change the balance of power in the political and economic spheres.
This is a big part of, first of all, competing in this area is a big part of Elon Musk's big plan for his companies. Not just Tesla, which of course is developing advanced robotics and is trying to build self-driving cars, but also XAI, his chatbot competitor. So he is very much playing in this market. He is also competing to buy these NVIDIA, these high-end NVIDIA GPUs. He's building giant data centers. So he very much has a dog in this fight.
Relationship between Trump and Musk is not just about politics. There are many more personal aspects and subtleties involved. In the past, Trump often called Musk useless and expressed the opinion that he did not deserve the attention he was getting. Musk, in response, did not shy away from criticizing Trump, even calling for the cancellation of subsidies for the electric vehicle industry, which, in essence, supported his business.
I can't speak more highly about any individual. He's an incredible guy. He's a brilliant guy. He's a wonderful person. I've seen him with his family. I've seen him with a lot of his children. He's got a lot of children. He treats them good. He loves his children. But he's a brilliant guy. And he was a tremendous help, both in the campaign and in what he's done with Doge. And, we're talking about almost $200 billion and rising fast, because many of the things that we were looking at are now being found out to be fact.
But now everything has changed. Trump suddenly started calling Musk fantastic, and Musk, in turn, defended Trump after the assassination attempt. This behavior does not seem like a political game. There is clearly a personal interest at play here. So the question arises, is this a temporary truce, or is there simply political gain behind it?
Musk's mission will last and when he will depart.
Well, Elon is fantastic, and I think he's a patriot, and I think it's a shame what they're doing with his car company. And a great car, it's a great car, great product. But there'll be a point at which time Elon's going to have to leave. At some point, just so you understand, I don't want to get it wrong, I want Elon to stay as long as possible. But there'll be a point where going to have to leave. And when he does, the secretaries will take totally over, and Doge will stay active.
At first glance, it seems that both decided to act in their own interests and simply used each other. Musk supports Trump. Trump praises Musk in return. And perhaps this is just another deal. But how long they will continue to support each other, especially after the election, remains unclear. Everything could change as soon as the political situation begins to unfold according to a new scenario.